today we are in my hometown of Fenton, Missouri, which is South St. Louis County.
I feel like visiting your hometown, and I felt this for me, makes you revisit a question that I think we've asked before, really, which is like, what does home really even mean? And I think when you become an adult, you're faced with that question right off the bat, pretty much. You know, you're going to move somewhere, and especially if you move farther away, you have to establish your own home and your own roots and whatever, your own patterns. And we now do that on a very regular basis. Not just a regular basis, sort of a manic basis. It's just like constantly reassessing what is home and making new patterns and finding a new place.
And I think at the beginning, it took a while to really kind of get into that feeling of like kind of detaching from the necessity of having a home. You feel like you want to make each place that you go home. At least we did at the beginning. I felt like I was just trying to anchor in each place we go, but then once you can kind of get rid of that and step back, then you really can just bounce around.
I don't exactly know what home is now.
I know.
But I think that the RV plays a role in it. It's at least, like you said, it's like an anchor. There's like a point.
Right.
I can go here. This is kind of my yard. This is kind of...
Yeah,
you know, and once you're inside, and if we've talked about this before, if you're inside and you close all the curtains, you don't know where you are outside.
Yeah.
You are in all the places you've ever traveled to. Does it really matter that I don't know the names of the streets? At first, it was really uncomfortable to not know anything about the area we were in. But now I think it's far less.
I think originally I always wanted to pick a place that was home, one place that counts as home, you know, and I think, you know, as a kid, that's where you grow up. Once you go to college, that gets a little bit confusing. I remember feeling that in college. But then we made our new home in Colorado, and that was home, and, you know, you can kind of let go of the ones before that. But then I think the biggest thing we've done to change our definition of home is allowing it to mean multiple places. You know, it's almost like we have a winter home and a summer home and all those things. And it's not about the structure because our RV is always home. But Tucson feels like a home now because we spent 4 months there since we've been on the road, which is the longest we've been anywhere.
I think there's a certain amount of time you have to stay somewhere before it feels like a home.
Right.
Where you feel, and it's almost like a sense of ownership about that place. Those are the places that we've stayed for like a month. I mean, to add on to that, maybe like Kansas City, I think we stayed there for a month, and I have a sense of that being home in a way.
I would also say Salt Lake City because we stayed there for a month, and plus we interned there in college.
Yep. But it's funny because when people ask me, like at jiu-jitsu, if someone asks me, like, where are you from? I mean, like 30% of the time I'm just like, Tucson. You know, if I don't have time to really answer that question.
Right.
And I realize that it takes so long to answer that question.
It does, yeah.
When someone asks me that. So usually I say, oh, I travel full time. I'm just in town for the week. I feel like that has become my standard answer.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
But there's so many forms of traveling full time.
Right.
I don't know if I should be like, I live in an RV. Would that make more sense? That's part of the entire equation too. I guess when we went back to Illinois where I grew up, I had family there, but I don't remember having like a bunch of friends there. I don't think I saw any friends or anything.
Yeah.
So it was mostly just family.
Yeah.
But you actually have a friend that you are still in touch with and close with from your childhood, which is pretty cool. And it's another thing, just like all these new places, you are making a new relationship like, oh, we're adult friends now, and that's different.
Yeah, and I wonder how it would have looked if I had lived here my whole life, if our relationship would look how it looks now, or if it would be more similar to what it was in high school. It's hard to say.
I feel like that's almost the point of today's podcast.
Yeah.
So that's a bonus. You're so calm this morning. I feel like...
Do I need to ramp it up?
I don't know.
You get excited?
I worry that we get sleepy on this podcast, which is fair because it's just like the two of us talking in our home.
It's tough
very
because
relaxing.
we're so just like relaxed together.
Yeah. But we got to give the people something to be amped about.
Ramp it up. It's been fun to come back and visit. It's a very different type of trip, and we've experienced this a little bit also because we've been to your hometown. It's so different to go back to somewhere that used to be home than to, most of the time we're just finding new places and we're exploring and adventuring. It's been so fun to come back and have all my new interests and like see that they all exist here, and I didn't even know that before. Like, I think there are 5 rock climbing gyms in St. Louis in the area, which is crazy. I never knew that. I never went rock climbing at all as a kid. So I got to go rock climbing. I got to take one of my best friends rock climbing too, which is fun, you know, because we always used to have the things that we would do as kids, and it's fun to have something new. And then there's also a really great archery range here.
I was very pleased about that.
It was very fun.
A free archery range.
Right.
Open all the time, like 20 minutes from here. And we legitimately went, I think, just about every day we were here.
Yeah.
Every single day that it was feasible in any sort of way. You did a little archery too.
Yeah, I got a bow. While we were here, I got my own compound bow.
It's badass.
It's pretty cool.
The nice thing about this park was that there were actually so many deer in this, like the range is set back into the woods, and there were actually a ton of deer that would be walking around, and so you just get to like see them and hang out with them.
Yeah.
They're very used to archers. They're not running away.
They
so
don't.
You get real close and just hang out.
They don't care at all.
No, they don't
They'll
seem to
just
care.
be like sleeping, and even like moms with babies, they're like chilling over there, and you'll look up and you're like 10 yards from one. If only they knew what the people
What
there
we're
were
doing.
training to do. And then we also had a really fun day where we went to my friend's family's lake house.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to, that's such a fun thing from childhood. You know, you just spend the whole day, the whole weekend out of the lake just doing whatever. Swimming, getting sunburnt.
It's so Midwest too.
It
like
is.
the lake house
Did you really grow up in the Midwest if you never went to a lake for a
to
weekend?
a lake, yeah.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Or boating or swimming or
Uh-huh.
whatever. We have places that I would consider home,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just all over the country now, and I think that's phenomenal. The less baggage you've got, and this one is some sort of like location baggage. It's like
Yeah.
I don't have a baggage of like I'm at home in this spot. It's like, nah, pretty much anywhere works.
Right.
And there's a few things that contribute to that, like decent weather. Like I don't like to be freezing, and I don't like to be boiling. So
Right.
if it's got decent weather, I'm gonna feel like I'm at home here.
Yeah.
Home has something to do with who you are as a person with your relationships too. So some people will not feel at home if they're not near family or friends.
That's true.
I can still feel at home without those things. I love my family and friends, but I don't need to be around them all the time. And since we have such a strong relationship, I'm good wherever you are.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we don't do very well apart.
nah, we're best friends. We hang out a lot.
Yeah.
So I moved into a tiny
no,
box together.
I think that's good. I think we, in a way, feel at home when we're independent. But I do like coming back as what I feel like I'm a more confident person and more, I don't know, I'm just like taking life, you know, by the horns a little bit more. And it's fun to come back and share that with people that you love.
That's it's all sort of the beauty of just this country. It's the
Yeah.
idea that we all, for the most part, we speak the same language, and you can go state to state with no problems. There's things that we all have in common that make us one big country. But every place has its own unique little things too. And I think it's phenomenal. Go find your home.
Find your home.
Go find your home.